Developer Student Clubs train hundreds of thousands
of university student developers globally while having fun getting to know other students at their school. Google selects students with strong leadership skills from across the globe once a year to start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower each other to solve real problems around them. Students can participate in the annual Solution Challenge by Google developers to solve for one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Join us in building a global community for students in technology.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Jedro, and welcome back to Life Hacks, brought to you by DSC CPU. Tonight is the second segment entitled I Wish I Knew. We'll be joined by our delightful and highly skilled guests to talk about the things they wish they knew, such as the struggles of job hunting, the skills you actually need, soft skills you didn't know you needed, as well as also giving up some general tips along the way. To start off the event, let's get to know each of our guests a bit more. Our first guest is a certified blockchain developer. His sharp logical thinking has helped him achieve the rank of first Q in CodeWars, an educational community for computer programming, where software developers can train on programming challenges. He is also skilled at front-end development and currently works as the front-end developer of Textile Fashion Group. He's an alumnus of Central Philippine University and holds a degree in software engineering. Let's all welcome Mr. Stephen Carl Hisole.
Hello everyone, hello. Oh shit, nawala ata yung connection.
Next up, we have an experienced software engineer. She is currently a software engineer and product manager at StackTrek, but also freelances in other software projects, whether they be web, desktop, or mobile. She is also a part-time instructor at Central Philippine University, and she loves to volunteer in tech events to help the community in her own little way. She is an alumnus of Central Philippine University as well and holds a degree in information technology. Let's all welcome Miss Ariasako. And last but definitely not the least, we have someone with 2 years of experience in the IT and engineering industry. She is skilled in both software and hardware. She is currently the data scientist and engineer at Ayana and is also sorry about
Connection problem ata sa Globe.
in the IT and engineering industry. She is skilled in both software and hardware. She is currently the data scientist and engineer at Ayana, and is also the chief information officer and lead data scientist at The Waste Solutions. She is a natural born leader and is a former Google DSC lead. She is an alumnus of the National University and holds a degree in computer engineering. She is also an alumnus of Asia School of Business Malaysia in collaboration with Massachusetts Institute of Technology Digital in Action Class 4. Let's give it up for Miss Kelly Sagabaen.
Hi guys, for those who are watching.
We are all honored that all of you can join us tonight to share with us the experiences and wisdom that you have accumulated throughout your careers. Well, hopefully all of our viewers are comfortable. Maybe grab a snack or a drink because we are about to dive right in. So let's start with our first question. Generally, what were some things that you wished you knew before being part of the industry?
For me, the things that I wish I knew back then is to have a lot of experience in internship. Because what I knew back then when I was in college is that uh, the only internship that you need to take is the one that the university requires. But there's a lot of tech companies that actually onboards even if you're a freshman that time, even if you're a sophomore. So that's what I lack because when I entered the industry, I have lots of colleagues who has uh, a great experience working in this tech companies, especially in startups, and make them to have a strong foundation in the field. So that's what I lacked back then. And if I will go back in time, I'll do that once again to at least intern in different companies for me to gain a lot of experience and to my foundation of my skills back then. So that would be it.
So, for me, what I wish I knew I learned before is that you don't really need that super skillful. You don't need to be very, very skillful in terms of the industry. You need to be a master of all trades. Like in such, you need to know how to communicate, you need to know how to network yourself as well, which I did not do way back then. So before, I thought you only need the skill in order to survive, but that's not the case in the industry. You need to have the communication skills and the networking skills as well in order to survive in this industry. Stephen, I think you could answer as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both your answers with the question with having a lot of like experience and having like more skills and all that. But I want to mix it up a notch. Is it okay if I tell you guys a quick background of my story about
I think that would
why?
be great, Stephen.
Yeah. All right. So when I was on like high school, I took up marine engineering as my first course. I took up in PMMA, and then I passed the test, but like I didn't get into like the physical training part, so I failed that one. So I came back in Iloilo City. Um, I was a very late enrollee. I believe it was like April that time that I took up some enrollment. So I asked some people if where are the schools that are having or having like late enrollees, and they said CPU was the choice. So I went there. I checked up some engineering courses. At the very bottom of the list, I saw software engineering, and I was like, "Oh, this this is a course that's gonna be very easy because there's like a preconceived notion that IT is very easy, di ba? Parang parang chill-chill lang. Uh, Punta ka sa klase, tapos ayun. So I took up software engineering as my first, as my really course of it. Um, First 3 years of my software engineering, I failed almost all semesters of that. So I wasn't very top of the top there. Um, I was failing a lot, and then failing every semester. But like the thing is, when it was in like fourth year, third year, I told to myself that, like, you gotta pick up the pieces, bro. So I started picking the pieces, learning everything from scratch and all that. And then once I got through that, I became passionate about like software engineering. And then fast forward 5 years later, I keep on like growing with my capabilities because I was passionate. So back to the question, that what were the things you wished? I guess it's gonna be with passion, but to be passionate about something, because like it doesn't, uh, it's not just for entitled for me for like getting software engineering and all that, but you have to have like passion in applying like jobs after like getting graduating into college and all that. So yeah, sorry for the very long history background, but I really think any person who is like passion in his own industry can really get it.
Jed, are you
Okay.
here na? Ayun, si Noel.
So Jed is experiencing unstable connection, so I'll just take over na lang for this live stream. So let me turn on my cam real quick. There we go. Okay. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Noel Aldrin C. Abelier. I'm the technical head for the DSC CPU. And let's move on to our next question, which is, how hard was it to find a job after graduating? Let's start with Stefan.
All right, bugtong sa aking history. So after I graduated, I flew to the US. At this point in time, I was like booming with my as a software engineering. So the thing is, I flew to US because I didn't want to have like a job that's to be just comfortable with. So I wanna take risk about like applying into major leagues. That's why I went to the US. It was a very hard it was a very hard experience because I remember I failed like 700 job applications, and like was like pulling out some emails and all that, just giving out some emails and resumes, and then LinkedIn. Yeah, I applied to a lot of jobs in the US. Mm, because the thing is, uh, I Thomas Edison failed 1,000 experiments. That's why for me, I just kept on going for the 700, and then yeah, finally accepted with one job that is really good. So in overview, it was really hard, but the thing is, just don't quit, just do it.
Okay, yes. Don't quit, sabi daw ni Stefan Carl. How about you, Kelly?
Actually, I have lots of experience in applying for a job. Um, it's like 3 months before my graduation, I applied for some of the companies in the Philippines. I applied for about 150 plus job application, got rejected all the time, but I keep on going. I agree with Stephen on what he said on that. That was too inspiring. But what I really want to highlight on this question is that while you're looking for a job, there's different types of companies. It's like when I got my first job, literally after the day after my graduation, I woke up early and go to work, go straight to work that time. I was too young and really fascinated in creating things. In applying a job, there's a company who will just call you and schedule you for an interview, and they will just screen your resume whether you are qualified for an interview. There are some companies who will just give you a lot of questions, technical questions, technical exams, and so on and so forth. And that time, I received lots of rejections before I got my first job. And with that kind of rejections, I became more strong. I became more passionate on what I'm doing and what I really want to achieve in life. So here are the tips, like there are some companies that it will matter to them. What are your credentials in school? If you're into student leadership, it's a plus. It's a plus. It's a plus where where the company can actually see how how did you build your leadership experience when you were a student that time. And there's a company who's after in your credentials, like if you're into research competitions related to your program, there's a company who's actually after on that. And there's a company who's really into not just knowledge but attitude. So I've learned a lot from that companies. I've learned from all the failures till I got my dream job as a data scientist. So that would be it.
Hello. So for me, for applying jobs, I got my internship way back in 2017 in Manila in one of the prestigious bank in Ortigas. But I didn't pursue Manila life because I wanted to take some quick rest na dito. So I applied for a developer role in one of a BPO company here in Iloilo City. And after a week, they told me to start. Pero yung ano doon, yung gist doon is that because college really parang is very very stressful for me. So I wanted to get some rest muna. So I told them if I could start a month after. So medyo yun yung journey ko. Then after which, siguro you'll feel sometimes that you won't grow in that certain company. So after my probationary period, I decided not to continue and applied for more jobs in software industry. And I agree with both Kelly and Stephen that if you are really passionate about, it doesn't matter if a company rejects you. You just keep on trying, and really, God will find a way later on. So I think that's it.
Yeah, I also want to add one thing.
Sure, sure.
I saw this inspirational quote that everyone should fail, and then everyone has the talent, the training to succeed, but none, almost, not all has the guts to fail. So, of course, to fail, it means it's a one step closer to getting success.
Oo, don't let your failure parang define your success.
Yes,
Oh,
I do agree to that. And just to add also, wishing is has a big difference in dreaming. You're wishing, you don't involve hard work to there. If you're dreaming and you're a goal digger, you want to achieve your one and only goal, then you'll probably achieve it no matter how hard it is.
yeah.
So, uh, is anyone want to add more, or let's proceed?
I
So,
think
thank
we
you
could
for.
proceed.
Okay. So, I think. Okay, thank you for the wonderful answer. How about we move on to our next question, which is, what are some soft skills unrelated to programming that you wish you had developed earlier?
Hello. So, for me, soft skill that I wish I have developed earlier. Siguro I'm very thankful for the experience for my council experience before, because I learned how to negotiate. I learned how to manage people in such way that I did unexpectedly use it in my current role as a product manager. So I learned how to negotiate with partners as well. I help negotiating with them. I also manage a big team. So currently approximately 22 people in the team na. So I think my leadership and council experience really helped me. So I wish I knew na lang siguro na that will be very very helpful. Kasi nung time na yon, I felt that uh, yung council work ko will never get parang bearing in the real industry, kasi the industry wants super um super hard coder, parang ganon. But that's not it. So usually the industry wants someone who is knowledgeable in that, in a certain skill, and also can manage and negotiate in some ways. So I think that's it on my end.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Ma'am Kelly.
For me, back then when I was in college, I work a lot with people, and yeah, communication skills is much more important, and not just with your peers, not just with your closest friends or in your own department, but also you need to step up your game, especially not just communicating with engineering students or IT students, but also with people who's in other courses. It's really important because in a company you're structured like you're not just gonna work in engineering department. You'll also coordinate with people who's in business, who's in marketing, who's in sales. And for me, that's one thing that helped me a lot. Also, is me by joining student leadership opportunities back then, by joining competitions. I've learned how to express myself more before I entered the industry. So that would be it.
Okay, thank you. Last and not the least, Stefan.
Yeah, I really envy you guys with all those leadership skills. I didn't have one, so I guess soft skills unrelated to programming. I guess the best thing in mind that I want to go through is communication. Like you guys said, to communicate better with not only just the engineering people, and also to get to like for example what Kelly said, the sales and the management. We also had that one in the team. So you need to have like a skill to uh uh visualize like the one what you wanted, and then communicate further with the people in other sections, like the ones who are not programming related. And also I wanted to add one more. I guess time management, that's for me. Yeah. I'm pretty sure some of the people are who are very time managed when they were in college already has like this skill. But if I were to go back in time and then get my college, I guess time management is one skill that pretty much everyone needs to master. Not just communication, but like time management, communication. Those are big pairs. Yeah, and that's for me.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful answer. Is there anyone want to add or anything?
For me, I do agree with Stephen on time management because we do know that a lot of students procrastinate a lot, and you don't need to
True.
do that. You don't need to bring that kind of attitude at work because you need to be professional as always. You need to meet the deadlines, not just by meeting the deadlines, but you need to be ahead of the deadlines because it's work. They're paying you to do your job, and since you're the one who's creating it, you need to be always professional. Be on time on the expected projects, be professional on the timeline on meeting it, and in case you did not meet the deadlines, explain well how did it happen that you didn't meet the deadline. So yeah, for sure there are some reasonable like on that kind of situation in any cases. So that would be it.
Okay, so what we learned so
I
far
really
is like,
rely
yes,
on
ma'am.
the parang procrastinating. I really agree on that. Students should not rely on
Ma'am,
procrastinating
you're
and should
choppy.
not rely. Sorry, I'm choppy. Is it
Uh-uh.
better? Okay, sige. I think I agree that students does not need to rely on them saying to the teachers that they need to actually extend the deadline, etc. So they need to have that ethics in them before working in the industry. I agree with both Kelly and Stephen on that. Shopee.
Okay.
Try ko move.
Okay, now so far we
Okay
have
na?
learned that so far we have learned that it's basically about time management and stuff. And then always when it's about
Purpose.
time management, it's not only applicable to the work, but also in college and in our everyday life. So we have to learn how to manage our
So you want
time
to
really
globe?
well, especially in this online class. And then also in work. And also you need to have a strong work ethic
Ganda kasi yun,
as
no?
well.
Ganda kasi yun.
And for
May
now, we
sensor
are
system na.
moving on to
Pero wala yan.
Ginharang mo.
our next question, which
Ano
is
yun? Next na question.
okay.
Sige. Ah,
Oh, nalan. Prepare ko na. Cheat. Mula.
How often do you find
sikat ka naman sa
yourself
question.
doing self study for work related tasks?
So for work-related tasks, I have that parang hurdle. Say, especially in my role as of the moment, na it's something that is new to me. So I didn't know that that role exists before. So medyo old school pa yung mga natutunan namin before. And when I got into my current company, I met people which taught me na there are things or there are technologies that we need to explore. No, we don't need to rely on the technologies that are learned in school only. Na parang minsan they get obsolete na. Though you need to cope up. So learning is a continuous process in this industry of ours. So I believe that if you really wanted to grow and growth is your priority, you need to have that continuous learning within your heart. So that's all on my end.
Thank you. Next, we have Mom Kelly.
For me, based on experience, for us, technology, we cannot stagnate ourselves. Like, yeah, I agree to Miss Arisa, uh, continuous learning. And on what I've experienced in my field in data science, it's really wide. And it's really one of the hottest jobs in 21st century. It's like every day I learn something new, and if I don't know something, I ask my colleagues. um, One thing about asking is that you don't need to hesitate. If you don't know how this works, you just need to ask, because it really makes you like uh, being efficient, or uh, you'll do much more greater things when you ask, and when you confirm or clarify something to the things that you still don't know. And aside from that, um, with that, on my work, every day I have different models that I've learned, different platforms and tools in machine learning and even in artificial intelligence. uh, I allot I allot time, 2 hours of my free time. Aside from my working hours, which is 8 hours, I allot 2 hours, or even every break time for me to self study and learn it from free platforms, learning platforms like Coursera, Datacamp. So that's what I'm still doing right now. Even though I'm a working professional, I still learn. I still enroll into courses, which are free because it's unlimited in the web. And you need to at least read and read and read in the industry for you to be able to step up in the game. Aside from you learning on your own, self-taught, you need to be at least ahead, not just 1 to 2 books. You need to be ahead, uh, at least one library, an amount of books in a library. So that's where I'm coming in, because our industry changes a lot because it's technology. So that would be it for me.
Okay, thank you. Next, of course, not the least, Stefan.
Yeah, I really agree with the answers from Ariasa and Kelly. Um, our field is a very dynamically changing field. So software engineering, it's not to be stagnant. It's never gonna be stagnant. Like the main purpose I went to this company, Fabletics, is that they want to migrate from from this point code view, code base into a later one. So yeah, it's always about learning the new stuffs because once you once you're like stuck up into the ones you learn from school, you'll never get through past the ones in the job. So yeah, I really agree with the answers with them.
Oh, okay. So one thing we have to remind ourselves that like college doesn't teach you everything, but sometimes you have to like help yourself and then study even harder. And then I mean there are a lot of sources online. There's YouTube. There's you can even invest some money to go to Udemy, or just by reading the documentations also help. So does
Yeah,
anyone want to add?
I just want to add one more. Uh, some of our viewers are programming related, right? They know some tech stacks. So I want to add something that's true to what I've experienced. So back in college, we weren't taught with Vue. We're only taught with React. And then while I was like applying for a job, I saw this job that's like finding for a React and Vue. So I learned this Vue in just a couple of weeks, and then that's why uh, it's never ending changes of like learning. That's why every time we need to learn. That's why this course is a very stressful course, in my opinion. It's like you're constantly learning stuff. You're constantly reading. You're constantly doing that. I mean, some people can live through that. Some people can't. But yeah, just a heads up. This field is all about changes. So yeah, be prepared.
Yeah, me too. I'm not going to lie. This is actually stressful, but you have as long as you have a lot of willpower to do it. So
Yeah,
why
and
not?
passion and passion.
Uh, so kapit lang.
Yeah, kapit
Oh
lang.
yeah, kapit lang. So next, move on to our next question. Uh, how much of the things you learn through work were things you had to learn in your own free time to do your job?
So actually, on this one, there's a lot, because I'm not just working as a data scientist. I also coordinate with different departments like from sales, marketing, legal counsels, product managers, business devs. So on this one, it's like every day there's some terms or jargons that I need to learn and I need to cope up with because my terms are different to them and we need to at least unite on creating the project. On like example, we have this project, digital marketing in application to data science, something like that. So for me, I'm also learning my colleagues line of work a little bit so that we'll be able to understand each other when we have a meeting and presenting it to the client. And on that, we've actually produced a good output on doing those kind of things. So that would be it.
Okay, next we'll have si Stephen naman.
Alright, so sa akin, parang sa dev side na to, um, learning code, like for example, like features or bug fixes, uh, of course, it takes a lot of time, and then there are not a lot of bug fixes that are related to the ones that you got from the school and the ones that you're getting in work. So yeah, pretty much you're spending some time in, if you're like stuck in those features or uh, what you call this code. So you gotta learn it in your free time if you really want to solve something. But sometimes it's not healthy. I don't know if you guys agree, but because you're tasked to fix something, and then you're gonna do it in your free time, unless you're really into it. But it boils down again to what I said about time management. Hmm. Just be professional with everything you do, and then everything will be all right.
Okay, thank you. But and last, not the least, Ma'am Ariasa. Go, Ma'am.
Hello. So for me, hello. Could you hear me?
Yes, Ma'am.
Yep.
Okay. So for me, I agree with Kelly because my job actually rotates with other departments as well. So there are things that I don't know that it works for them. So parang words or etc. that they actually say or chat. Pero yung ano doon, yung gist doon is that you need to learn what they do in order to sync with them, in order to build a good product. Because a good product doesn't only mean that you have good software engineers, it also needs to have a good manager, a good business analyst, etc. So you need to sync with everyone in order to build a good product. So that's, I think, one of the things that I need to learn during my free time sometimes.
Okay, thank you for that. How about a one quick follow-up question? So, well, deciding on our audience is, 'di ba, there are all college students and some are doing part-time, some are just going to school. So what advice can you give it to them even though they are not working to do something for their free time as well? Especially for those who are aspiring to become software engineers or computer scientists.
Yeah, for that, what advice I can give to college students while you're still in college and before you enter industry is, for me, you find the right subject. Like example, you'll having this subject that interests you, software engineering, object oriented, or a specific course that interests you. You learn that specific thing, create projects on your free time, and enroll to other online platform courses, like what I've said a while ago. And on that, on my experience, I didn't know data science before. On my first year, I got into ethical hacking. On my second year, I got into cybersecurity. I got interested in my third year into web development. In fourth year, fifth year, I got interested into hardware and embedded engineering. So I got too confused. And what I really wanted to advise to college students is that yes, you can master, a specific subject, but for me, I believe that there's no jack of all trades, because that time I was really eager to learn everything. um, but make sure you at least know your expertise before you enter the industry. It's really important. If you find that you're really good into this language, go pursue it. What are the opportunities? Like in animation, like in data science, like in machine learning, you know that. And test yourself in your free time. Test yourself if you're really enjoying. If you're really enjoying, then do create things with it. And after you create things, you still explore a lot of things. What really interests you so much. So in by that time, once you graduate, you'll know what career path should you take in. So that would be my advice.
Thank you for that wonderful speech. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone want to add or anything?
Yeah, I completely agree with Kelly about the things that you don't need to master everything. You can just master one and then pursue it. My main key point here is that everyone should be curious about something. So if you're like curious about something that is related to your job, you can do it in your free time and then just explore the world of like programming. In our world, yeah, programming, but like in other worlds, like uh, not as the same field as us, and you can explore like that. And also, completely agree with Kelly with making projects because people from other companies check on live projects, the projects that you really made, and then maybe it's gonna be a key point for you to get accepted or not. But the more projects you do, even though it's like a failed project or like just a half baked project, it's pretty much better than nothing. So you guys should like explore the world of programming if you have the free time. That's for
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Ma'am, you want to add something?
Hello. So, on my end, I think ano na lang, I agree with them that making cute little projects is really, really okay, because sometimes when you read and you don't implement some things, you don't really understand how it works. So you need to implement things in order for you to understand how it works. So you need to create that cute little projects, and as well as it will help you later on in your portfolio, because some companies do look at CVs, your resumes, but some companies do look at portfolios in a big picture. So minsan kasi yung portfolio will have a great bearing or a bigger bearing than on your CVs. So I think that's all on my end.
So it's like once you enroll to software engineering or computer scientist, it's like we can say welcome and I hope you're doing all great as of now.
Yeah.
So
I also want
next,
to add something.
yes.
Because the thing about the resume, people from the HR side will check on your resume and then check on the attitude you've done about the projects. So yeah, it's really good to make a lot of projects with maybe just sample projects.
Thank you. So one quick in mind, we have to like is called the word iterate because we are not going to learn programming through lectures and videos and stuff. We need to like really actually perform it, like make a new project, put it in your GitHub repository or something, just to have a project in mind to at least enhance your skill, just like in any other training in sports. So treat it like a sport or something.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. With practice, you
Yes.
get
Mm,
perfect.
yes. So
Yes.
let's move on. Yes. Let's move on to our next question, shall we? So, how do you deal with unreasonable expectations from your boss, especially if he or she has no experience in programming?
All right, so I'm getting a lot of these scenarios from my past experience with the company. My product manager was not really uh, experienced or has no experience with programming. So the best way to tell her or get her to understand about some things in the feature that she wanted is to visualize something and then make her understand. Like you have to explain to her thoroughly or him. I'm sorry. I explain to them that this is what's going on, and then pull out some senior engineers, and then tell them that oh, it's because of this one, and not just explain it through words. You also need to explain it through like the visuals, like because they really wanted to see like the outputs and all of that, not just through theoretical concepts. But yeah, that's for me.
Okay, next we have Ma'am Ariasa. Hello, Ma'am.
Hello. Yes.
Hello.
So, hello. Could you hear me?
Yes, Ma'am.
Could you hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
Ma'am.
I think I get this a lot as well. That's a very very typical scenario sometimes, especially when you're dealing with someone who are not well diverse in the tech field. I agree with Stephen. So you need to actually tell them bit by bit why. Okay, for example, they'll be asking you for a timeline for a certain feature. Then you need to tell them bit by bit why should it take that long, because well, as business and time, time is money. So time is money in business. So your product owners or your CEOs might actually drag you in with deadlines because they need to catch up with the business side of things. So you need to really explain well why, so that they would be able to understand that that thing or that deadline is actually a deadline wherein you put great efforts. You're not just putting deadlines that are you get lazy, so meaning that deadline is unreasonable. You're just lazy, so you're just giving a deadline which is very very long. So you just need to explain your side, explain the engineering side of things. I explain to them that well, you need this timeline for you need this time for planning, you did need this time for development, and you need this time for checking. So you just need to explain them in a layman's term. So I think that's all of mine.
Okay. Ma'am Kelly.
Yeah, actually, I do agree with Arisa and Stephen on that because I do experience it a lot with product managers, business devs, and the higher ups. What I did is that first I present to them in PowerPoint my mock up. Or yeah, I agree on what Stephen said. The visuals. Uh, I explained it to them in layman's term, like what Miss Arisa said also in layman's term, in a way that they'll be able to visualize and get an insightful information on my presentation. What I do is, aside from the mock up, I explain it well to them, present the project timeline of the project, and if it did not meet the deadline, I'll explain the processes. Actually, every time I do have a detailed documentation, where they can really see my outputs. It's the outputs are included so that they'll be able to ask questions, anything regarding the project. So that's how I deal on that kind of situation, and based on my experience.
Okay, well, that's a little bit scary for me and for our viewers since we don't have our boss yet. But we'll get there. We'll cross the
Yeah,
bridge or the river. We'll get there.
you guys
Yeah,
can.
So,
I
so
would
let's move
suggest you
on.
guys also to practice on what Kelly said, proper
Your
documentations,
boss
not
will be
just
scarier than your teachers.
that's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's
Unless your teacher
that's
is.
so true.
True.
So yeah, back to the what I said. That Kelly said about documentations, and you guys should really practice on even just tiny documentations on how to do it because you really need it in the job.
That's really wonderful. So let's move on to our next question. Um, okay, what was that? Okay. What is something? Oh, this is fun. What is something you wish you knew while you were still in school?
So I wish I knew that working will be harder. So siguro on funny side of things, I thought that going to school is harder than working. So I'm so excited to graduate and work. Parang ganun siya. But the funny thing is, no, when you're working, you'll be saying that I really want to go back to school because working is really harder. You need to deal of a lot of things. You need to deal with your boss, you need to deal with life as it is. So I think that's one general thing that I wish I knew. Kasi before, when I was still in school, I'm excited because I don't need to work on my minor subjects. I just need to upskill my skill. So parang ganun siya kasi during our college years, we have our minor subjects. But I wish I knew that before, no, working was harder than going to school. So I think that's in a general term. I I think that's all on my end.
So, like when you're in school, you have to cherish the moment, something like that.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Um, how about you, Sir Stephen?
um, I guess for me, college was so fun, and I wish it wasn't that fun. Because back when I was college, I was the bottom of the bottom, and I guess I wish I did my college seriously, or rather get like passion about stepping into software engineering with a passion early on the stage. But forget about that. Let's go with something that's like I already told you guys a couple of questions ago. I guess maybe time management is one that I really wanted to develop and master while I was in college. And yeah, I guess I guess we're going back to the soft skills and maybe enjoy and really master the communication skills from the English or Filipino side of everything. Because yeah, turning back to the question, communication skills are very good for especially when you're software engineering or you have like leadership skills. But since I didn't have those leadership roles back in college, then it's safe to me to say that I wish I knew those things before. And that's for me.
Okay, next. Last but not the least, Ma'am Kelly.
Okay, to guys who are watching, college is really wonderful. Like it's a roller coaster ride where you fail, pass your subjects, but it's really wonderful. I actually miss being a college student. The difference is that yes, working and being in college is both stressful, but it's fulfilling at the same time. The difference is just another difference is just in work you are earning and in studying you're earning stress. So what that's what I can say, but I really want to recommend you guys to join boot camps. There's a lot of free boot camps while you're still in college. Like I do have a lot of boot camps that I've missed because I focus on my academics that time because I do not want to fail and I need to graduate on time that time. Aside from boot camps that you can join, these are the boot camps are free. It's open even if you want to enter the path of ethical hacking, cybersecurity, web development, especially in data science. If you want to be into data science and engineering, there's a lot of free boot camps that you can actually join. And the one thing is that hackathons. You can join hackathons. In hackathons, it is a very great experience where you will be able to group in different people that you don't know. And that people it can uh, it can be your friend and as well as your connection in tech industry. It will be able you to connect with them, create things with them, and learn from them. You'll like learn from each other, work hand in hand by each other, and discover new things, especially tech opportunities. So that's what I wish I knew while I was back then in school. I wish I joined into is boot camps, hackathons. Aside from that, there's a lot of career path seminars. It do help a lot, like this one. It do help a lot. Where are you gonna be going on your next path after you graduate? So that's what I'm really advising to you guys to join in while you're still in college. It's much better. And it will make you a future proof, especially if you want to aim high in the tech industry. It will build your foundation a lot as a future software engineer and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Um, is there anyone want to add, or we just move on? Step.
Let me see. There's something in my mind I forgot now. Maybe we can just move on.
Okay, so here, moving
Oh, I
on.
think I got it
Oh,
again.
okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I also want to tell the students here that are watching that never be afraid to fail. That's the thing. So you should never be afraid to fail, even if it takes you long time or short time. Because the difference between a failure and someone who is successful is that a successful person never quits. The failure person, well, yeah, he's always afraid to fail. That's why just don't be afraid to fail. If you fail, just put your pat yourself in the back and then just move on with the next one.
That is quite deep. So, yeah, failure is like a learning process. So, we learn from our failures naman. So, that's it. So, move on to our next question. It's the situation today. So, how do you deal with burnout, especially now that we are in a pandemic?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. So, how do I deal with burnout? So, sometimes I do eat. I do go for a quick dinner with friends sometimes. And also, I do play games. Sometimes you feel really stressed out, no? Because in this field of ours, we don't get stressed physically, but we do get stressed mentally because our work is always thinking, thinking, thinking. So programmers and tech people do think a lot always. So, well, you just do your hobbies. Then, if you're really, really stressed out, just take a time and do a quick pause. Okay? Do a quick pause and go back, go back up. As Stephen Carl said a while ago, pick up the pieces, bro. So, parang ganun siya. So, just go back to yourself after picking up those cute little pieces of yours. So, I think that's all on my end.
Ooh, thank you. Next, we have Mom Kelly. Ma'am.
Yeah, this is for actually working and at the same time for the college students out there. We are adjusting to new normal. It's really hard. First thing to do is you learn, you know when to at least rest. Sometimes the best productivity that you can do is to relax, have a peace of mind, meditate, listen to your favorite musics, read your books, social media time out, because social media can actually affect some psychological part on your brain, and the toxicity, the negativity of the people there, it will not help you. uh, it's my recommendation for you to at least make your mind at ease and help it relax. Stay connected with your friends. We are now online, even though we cannot socialize in person, but stay connected with our trusted friends and family. Talk to them, have virtual parties, have sanity checks with your closest friends and families, and that would be all. You just need to not to pressure yourself too much, because mental health is much important than our tasks for every day. That's what we rely on every day. We need to make it healthy. So that would be all. That would be my advice for both working and college students. Yeah, we just need to keep on going every day, balance all our thoughts, and don't overthink too much, because it will actually harm our way of thinking, our positive thinking. So we always look into the positive side of the situation so that we'll be able to overcome the hardest situation that we are experiencing. So that would be.
Thank you, Mom Kelly. Next, we have Stefan.
All right. So for mine, I suggest people to just get like a time off, or like a free day, and then take a step back, think about yourself, and then think about think about the things that you really wanted to do when pre-COVID. Of course, not the physical activities that you need to go outside, but like, uh yeah, you get the point. But anything you want to do at your home, like the last anime you wanted to watch last year, that could really help with this what you call this burnout that we're feeling right now. So at your free time, take a break. Yeah, yeah. I actually had a similar experience with this. So when I was in pre-COVID, maybe like 2 to 3 years ago, um, I was thinking of like learning something new outside from the tech world. It was Photoshop and video editing. And then since this was a very stressful situation we have in our hands with the pandemic and all that, so I had something that should be able to cope up with all the stress that I have. And uh, I thought about I thought about the things that I wanted 2 to 3 years ago. So that was like Photoshop and video editing, and I started learning those ones just recently. And then actually made it some video editings for my sister's birthday or all that, or maybe um, stream some games. Because, yeah, I'm also same as Ariesa. I like to play games. And then, yeah, I also try to do the streaming part with the games. So, yeah, just take a step back, relax, and then think about the things earlier that you really wanted to do.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Now, burnout is not only like present to people who work in the tech industry, but it's also present to all of our. This is also present to us students as well. We experience burnout sometimes, stress out, or
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Yeah, until now, actually, we're still stressed out, burnout every day, every life. Just kidding. Pero like, if you're experiencing all of that, then have some time for yourself, have some time for your family, but especially have some time for yourself, like meditating or do the stuff that you love because we're still human. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, oh, thank you very much for those nuggets of wisdom. Those are all the questions that we have for you tonight. But now it's the turn for our dear viewers. So comment away the questions that you would like to ask for our guest. Those we will wait for like a few minutes for some questions. So if you have a question now, it's a really good time to ask. So comment away. Okay. While waiting for the questions in the comments, I have a question actually. So this is related to burnout, but it's not really like the burnout topic, but I have this one word in my two words actually. It's called imposter syndrome. D- Do you know what's imposter syndrome? It's like the feeling where, oh no, I don't want to be a comp sci anymore. I don't want to be a software engineer. This is not clearly not for me. So yeah, I'll just give you an example. So
Yeah.
the question is, how do you guys deal with imposter syndrome? Just curious.
Actually, I have experience back then when I was in college.
Hmm.
Um, I was that time a third year college student in NU, and I do wanted to actually shift from another program. I really want to be a political science major and mass communication major, but not in engineering. But when I told that to my parents, they told me that this is the right path that I'm taking in. And I do not have any regrets right now because they are truly right on what they've said back then. In case on dealing with that, I just keep on believing because all of the things that I've worked on, I don't want that to vanish in that way. You just need to think of all of your hard work and efforts and everything that you're currently in, the difficult situation that you're currently in, will uh, will be all worth it because you put hard work in your dream. I asked myself that time. I asked myself, is this really what I wanted? Is this really what I really love on doing get old in this till I get old because this will be my lifetime job. And I think of my vision. My vision is I really wanted technology to help many people, many industries. It's not just we're in demand, it's not just practicality. Yes, we'll be having on that kind of difficulties, but passion is powerful. On that is my really motivation is to always keep on going on what I dream. Yes, there will be times that you're just doubting yourself on, am I gonna continue this? Am I going to finish this course? Am I gonna graduate? Or how long do I gonna take this course? These are the questions of most of the college students who are struggling in engineering, in IT, in computer science, because it's really a hard program for you to choose. And on dealing with that, you always think of your hard work, all of your hard work, your effort that you put in, and your vision, what you want to become after you graduate. And you deserve to at least rest your mind and keep on going. All of us can be knocked down, but not knocked out. It's like a temporary rest for our mindset if we are about to like wanted to shift from other program or wanted to stop. It's okay to rest, but always choose your one and only goal on becoming what you want to become after you graduate. So that would be it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Ma mind blown, mind blown. My mind is blown. It's like that's that's really wonderful. I have nothing to say. Anyone you want to add,
Uh,
Ma'am Ko or Stefan?
see, you can go ahead. Yes.
Sige, mine is just quick, no? I agree with Kelly. Well said talaga. So until now, honestly, I still do feel that way sometimes. Is this really the job that I wanted? I'm still young. I could still study another field. So parang ganun, you have that. And I also agree in terms of you just look back on the things that you've done, your hard work, etc., and put yourself up again after having those episode of yours. No, sometimes it is caused by the stress lang naman. It's not that you're not passionate about it. You're really passionate, but the stress burns you out that you feel that way. So I think that's very very normal in terms of in being in the professional field and as well as being a student. So being a student, not all the subjects are very friendly, and not all subjects are something that you wanted to learn, di ba? But um, it's a challenge that will make you stronger naman siguro later on. So I think that's all on my end. Go, Stephen.
All right. Good suggestions with Kelly and Ariesa. So parang kinuha na lahat ata ni Ma'am Kelly. Wala na akong masabi.
Sorry
Pero
guys.
lahat na points kinuha ni Ma'am Kelly. Sakto lahat yun. I'll just give like a bare example with my end on this imposter syndrome. Because back in like when I was third year, remember, di ba sabi ko kanina, palagi ako may failure. Every semester yan, may failure ako. So, there was at this point that I was asked by a viewer here who is already here. Sir Jelvi, what's up? Hello. So Sir Jelvi is from the ECE department, and he's trying to recruit me for ECE. Cause like at that time, I was like, sayang naman. So pwede ko naman sana G na lang tong ECE. Samantala, major lang naman yung delay ko. So yun. But like, the thing that got me stuck with SE, the thing that made me not a quitter, is that I had to prove a point that those grades don't define what I'm gonna be. So even though I have all those failures, um I had to make like a point that I'm not the guy who you guys told me that I'm just a failure and you can't do this, you can do this, you can't do that. Because I remember my instructor was so strict on me. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm very lazy with my first 3 years of academic. But yeah, I picked up my pieces in fourth year, and from there point on, I tried doing all my points proven with, like what Kelly said, joining into competitions. I tried joining into code challenges with better practices, like in Code Wars. That's why I reached on first queue in Code Wars, which is only like um 0.01% of the whole populations of like 700,000 people joining it. I'm not sure the current situation now, but yeah, at that time, 700. It was just a practice, and looking back at it, I never thought I'd be able to accomplish something that's like, whoa, dude, 1%. So yeah, just gotta keep on going. Just gotta keep on going. Just gotta find that reason to fight through all these imposter syndromes, all these pandemic issues, all this burnout. So you just gotta find that reason deep inside you. But if the reason is really, really weak inside you, that I gotta go fly another plane or like that, then I guess it's never too late for something like that. But yeah, yan yung experience ko. Kasi nakuha na lahat ni Kelly. Kelly. That's for me.
Thank you, everyone, for that wonderful answer. Pretty sure all the audiences are like inspired by all of your saying, especially
Yes,
Kelly.
very well said.
Yeah, very well said. Especially the quote unquote knocked down but not knocked out. So
Thank you,
it's like,
guys.
Sakto,
yeah.
sakto.
Thank you.
So it's really wonderful. So actually, we have some questions here in the comments. So let's start with the first question. Um, what do you wish you knew back then when dealing with situations where you get stuck in a problem?
So I wish I knew that there are a lot of resources available online.
For this question, what do you wish you knew back then when dealing with situations where you get stuck in a problem? Back then, I was afraid of asking my colleagues. And it's for me, by in solving questions, I was afraid in like sharing my ideas, sharing my questions to other people, because I believe also in solving a specific problem, two heads is better than one. And sometimes when you're in a team, you're collaborating to each other, brainstorming for you to solve the problem. So that is the one that I wish I knew back then, and uh, which I did sooner, that I've learned to ask and coordinate with people also. And yeah, I agree to what Miss Arisa said, that there's a lot of uh, online materials that you can use to get an idea from solving the problem.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, thank you. Next, we have Stefan. Would you like to
Um,
answer?
yeah. What do
Mhm.
you wish you knew back? I guess having the courage to ask the professor on help with the problem. As long as it's not exam, okay? So don't ask the professor if it's not if it's an exam. But yeah, if you're stuck in a problem, you can always ask guidance from a professor that you're stuck on this problem, and then you go through the steps that you wanted to do. But the professor, of course, will not give you the exact answer, but he will for sure guide you on how to solve this problem. That's that's what I wish I knew before, to have like the courage to ask.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You're back. Anything? Is there something you want to add or anything? Okay, I guess she's having some trouble. So let's move on with the next question. Would you rather start working early or do an internship first?
Well, it depends. For me, I suggest if you know to yourself that you're ready, you go with starting on working early than internship. But on my side, it depends. For me, in practicality side, sometimes some companies didn't pay that much when it comes in internship, and you are working for about 8 hours a day. So I prefer working early. But based on building your foundation and skills, I prefer, or on learning or gaining new knowledge before working, I prefer to prioritize having an internship first before you work early. But at least the tactic on this one, the best strategy is that while you're still in college, like if you're a sophomore, if you don't have any major subjects, or you can manage your time efficiently, you can actually go have an internship first, so that after you graduate, you work, you deploy yourself to work as early as you can. So that's what I can suggest. There's a lot of opportunities for college students right now, especially tech companies are hiring interns with allowance. Some are with allowance, some doesn't have an allowance, but you'll learn. Make sure that the company that you choose is you'll learn a lot from them. Technical skills and communication skills. That's more important. And yeah, that would be it.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Stefan, you're up.
Yep. Uh, okay, so I think this one is very applicable to our course, the software engineering back in CPU, because we had we had to uh, we can choose to get into internship, or we can just graduate and just have a job. But honestly, after experiencing having a job early on, I would say I think internship is the right choice, since when you're in a job, although you're learning, but your priority is to do the maximum effort you do for like a successful project, or because like you're being paid, so you have to deliver also a quality of product. So the thing is, against the internship where you can just uh, focus on just learning all this all that, um, I guess it's much better to just do the focus on learning how the environment first before getting into the work. Because yeah, um, I guess that's just sorry na nawala ako sa tempo ko. Pero internship muna para marami kang malalaman before ka mag-work. Kasi 'di ba pag working ka dapat kailangan mo top of the top yung mga deliverables mo. So ayun, mas maganda pag internship muna.
Let's try look for another question here in the comments. By the way, don't be afraid to ask. This is the huge opportunity for you guys to know from these wonderful speakers. So let's move on to our next question. Here we have one, and this is quite common. How do you deal with unpleasant coworkers or teammates? Question mark.
Just drop them. De joke lang, de joke lang.
That's
In coworkers, I guess I haven't had like experience with unpleasant coworkers because in the professional world you get to be professional even with just communication and all that. It's good to have like patience and all that with people who are tempered or quick tempered, but like yeah, I I guess I don't have any experience with unpleasant coworkers, but with teammates, par walang ganyan. Pag ayaw mo, wag na, wala ka na sa listahan. dapat ganun kasi I saw a lot of like yung mga research na yung iba pinapagawa sa sa leader lang tapos or and then we need to be strict about this one because honestly yung gain is not just for you as the leader, but it should be everyone who is in the group, not just the one who made it. So dapat malupit ka dito. Ayun lang.
Okay, that's quite cruel that you're just going to drop them, your teammates or your
Ay,
coworkers.
syempre,
But
syempre, remind mo muna, and then check up mo if what's this, what's that. Pero pag stubborn talaga, drop mo na. Huwag na.
hmm. Okay, let's have Ma'am Kelly. What do you
Okay,
think?
so yeah, I deal that a lot with people, unpleasant coworkers and teammates. For with my experience, I always ask them professionally, but not to the point that I'll be embarrass them or be frank with them. No, first I assess them psychologically. Like I'll ask what was the reason why they're performing like this and why their attitude is like that. I always know what is the reason, and I know for sure that there is a reason. Maybe they're having personal problems, maybe they're having a hard time at work. So for me, I always ask them in a nice way because there's nothing that I can do. It's like I cannot work with people if I get frank with them and they got embarrassed with how frank I am. So I'll be ask them nicely and still work with them. So I'm really that machagal in terms of teammates and coworkers because everything has a reason. Maybe because their attitude is like that, because they're dealing in something difficult with their life, so that they're like that in workplace, they're performing poor. So yeah, for me it's assessment first. I'll know first their kind of situation, maybe it's personal, and always ask them nicely and professionally in workplace. So that would be it.
Yes, thank you for that. Now let's check up again for Ma'am. Now we move on to our last but not the least question. But if you want to ask again, don't be afraid. This is your chance. Oh, there's Ma'am. But we are moving on to our next question. Wait, let me just hide this. There we go. How do you deal with heavy pressure and deadlines? This is common to all of us. Let's start with Mom
Hello, could you hear me?
Mariesa. Hi, Mom.
Am I
So we
here?
are on,
Oh,
yes, Mom.
yes.
So we are
Okay.
on our last and not
On
the
the
least
last
question.
question,
Yeah,
sorry for the technical difficulties.
no problem, Mom. We might have more questions, but this is might be the last, or
Okay.
maybe
So
there
before
might
I
be more
answer this
questions.
question, I would like to take this opportunity. Okay. I would like to take this opportunity to have a shout out with our comms head in GDG. That's Miss Trisha. So I think she's watching because she's commenting. Okay. So how do you deal with pressure and that heavy pressure and deadline? So I think since you were in college, you will be trained with heavy pressure and deadline. So what you do is to actually have a time management. Use tools which you could manage your task. You have Trello, you have a lot of tool management, task management tools that you could actually use on your day. Okay, so if you actually see that as a boss, so that you'll be more productive later on. So I think that's it on my end. I hope you guys could hear me.
Yes, we could definitely hear you, ma'am.
Yes.
Uh, how about Ma'am Kelly?
Yeah, I just want to shout out also Miss Trisha Espino, our comms head also. She commented a while ago kasi I saw her comment. Hi, Ate Trish.
Oo.
So, yeah, on that, I make sure to be very strict on my project timelines and be more, it's well planned project timelines, and make sure to finish all the workload. And sometimes I do overtime because 8 hours a day isn't enough for me to finish the project. On heavy pressure and deadlines, yes, I've experienced heavy pressure, but it's part of the job. Actually, there's also a good side in pressure, but don't take it too much. In pressure, you'll be going to be so eager and determined on what you're doing, and determined on finishing it as soon as possible. But the downside of it is that it will make you stressed too much. So at least we balance it. On the deadlines, there are some I'm always ahead of the deadline, but not all the time because there are some circumstances that we cannot prevent, and we need to explain it to our direct supervisor if that happens. You state the reason, what are the downsides that you experienced while creating the project, why you didn't meet the deadline. So a clear explanation is enough to your bosses when you experience on not meeting the deadline, but not all the time, of course. You should at least get onto their expectation and standard as you are a working professional. That would be it.
Okay, thank you. Stefan, how do you deal with heavy pressure and deadlines?
Um, I guess for in a college side of everything, this question, I would really do just take a take a step back, take a breather, or either just get some proper sleep with like 30 minutes of nap, and then plan it all out on how to tackle the problems bit by bit. But if if it's not what you call this, if the time is too short for everything of all this, just like Kelly said, you can make like a brief explanation to your boss or to your teacher that you're gonna have some trouble with the pressures and the deadlines. Yeah, when it comes to college, pressure is always there. It's never gonna be. Uh,
Yes.
it's always gonna be there. That's what I mean. And the deadlines, but in the work, it's a lot more different. Yes, of course, you can sacrifice some deadlines and then explain further with your boss that you're gonna do this because you don't wanna push something into production half baked. So you wanna have something that is in good quality. So you can for sure talk it all out. That's all. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone would like to add, or are we good now? I think we're good.
I'm good.
So, how are you guys so
I'm good
far?
as well.
Yep, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. So, I do believe we have another question. Let's see. Okay, here. How do you find the balance between pressure and motivation?
I think one thing, my current company CEO once said to me that pressure creates diamonds. Okay, so without pressure, you will not be a diamond. So for motivation wise, how do we balance pressure and motivation? So it actually works in parallel. So, in order to survive pressure, you need that motivation. So, you need to have that 50-50 pressure, 50% motivation so that they would work in parallel. So, they need to work hand in hand in order for you to succeed. So, without pressure naman, you'll not get the best out of you naman. But you need pressure and motivation to work hand in hand for you to be successful. So I think that's it on my end.
Okay, thank you for that. Next up, we have Mom Kelly. Ma'am?
For me, pressure is the one that releases what more can you do in the industry? What more can you create in the industry? So that's pressure. And on that, you are extending your limits from what you believe in to yourself. It's like you are wanting for more because you are aiming high for yourself and for your goal. And on motivation, it's because it's part of your passion. You love what you're doing. These two works hand in hand. If you make it balanced to yourself, then it will have a good output to you actually. So on that pressure, like what I said a while ago, yeah, don't take it too much, but at least balance it. On motivation side, as long as you have a vision for yourself, your passion on what you're doing, then it will do good for you. That would be all.
That's nice. Last but not the least, Sir Stephen.
Nakuha naman ata lahat eh. Sabihin ko rin sana, pressure, gumagawa ng ano, diamond, tapos yung motivation para sa ano. Pero yeah, ano na lang, agreement na lang with both points. Without
The
so
perks
without
of being the
pressure.
only boy, Carl.
Oh, the only boy. Ayun. So, okay, between pressure and motivation, sakto si Aries is about the pressure and uh, go hand in hand with motivation. And then, sakto naman si Kelly about the motivation that strengthens the one that gets you in pressure point. And I guess yung ma-add ko lang dyan, wala eh, nakuha lahat eh. Pero yun, sakto sila, sakto sila. Kasi point of view ko naman dapat yung same kay Ariesa, yung pressure about like getting diamonds made with pressure. I guess greater ito na lang. Great motivation comes from great pressure na lang siguro. Parang parallel na lang ulit. So, ayun.
Okay. With great power comes great responsibility. Let's go. Okay. So we do believe we have one more question. Okay, this will be the last question for tonight. So let me just there we go. How do you keep up with technology? So usually we are software engineers or computer scientists. We sit on a computer all day. So how do we keep ourselves up or until our eyes are just going to bleed out or just keep, yeah. So let's start with Sir Stephen.
I guess depende naman to siguro. To keep up with technology, there's like two parts. If you're like doing it in your work or in your leisure time. So one thing that will come here is your passion in like discovering or go throughout your box and then learning some things that's not in line with what you're doing. Like for example, you're like a front-end developer, you want to learn about some things in the back end. That will really come from you if you are really motivated in or learning some new stuff like that. um that's I mean, there's nothing really much I can say about it, but it's really up to you if you can like get motivated to reach out to different technologies. All right, I think that's for me.
Okay, thank you. Next is Ma'am Kelly.
For me, how do I keep up with technology? In my industry in data science, I always read. There's non-stop readings because in my industry it's really wide. I read journals, tech articles. I also still watch YouTube tutorials. Yeah, that's actually my savior in college. I do learn a lot from my professors, but when I didn't understand a thing, I go in YouTube. So yeah, I've learned a lot from that. LinkedIn, I also learn a lot from it. I join groups and discussion, open forums in Stack Overflow, in different tech websites towards data science to some of the students who's aspiring data scientists. That's one good thing that you can join towards data science open forum. So that's how I keep up with technology. I always keep myself updated to new trends, updated to new machine learning techniques and artificial intelligence application to business in different industries, to business, financial tech, digital marketing. And right now, what I'm really into it on applying data science is in medical field since COVID pandemic. So that's how I keep up.
Okay, last and definitely not the least, Ma'am Arias Ako. Hi, Ma'am. Ma'am, I think she's gone.
Hello. So could you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for me, how do you keep up with technology? So as mentioned kanina, technology is hello. Technology is an endless learning. Okay, I'm gone.
No, ma'am. You're still here.
Uh, okay. So
You're still
well,
here, ma'am.
if you could hear me, well, technology is an endless learning. Okay. So I agree with both Kelly and Stephen that there are a lot of resources, articles online, especially Medium. You could check it out. Um my mentor, yeah. My mentor once said before yes, that comfort and growth doesn't coexist. So you need to go out for on your comfort zone from your comfort zone at as what Stephen Carl did, so that you could grow and you could venture new technologies if you'd like, etc. So I think that will be all on my end.
Thank you for that. So to keep up with technology, we have to be like always be updated and always be updated to the new trends go to other news and articles. What are the latest updates to technology? And then there's always something new because the world is always innovating. That's it. That's all.
Yep, yep.
Yep. So those were some good questions, everyone. Let's have a round of applause to all of us.
That was awesome.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you. Well, I guess that's wraps up everything for tonight. So thank you for our guest. Thank you for everyone who is watching. Thank you for joining us. So unless you want something to add to our dear audience, it's okay now. Maybe a short speech or whatever before we finally end this life hacks. I wish I knew. So, is there anything you want to add?
You can go ahead, Ma'am Kelly.
For me, as the pandemic is worsens in this country, what I really wanted to all of us is do take care of our mental health, stay healthy, and don't let regrets replace your dreams. That's one my my advice to all of you guys. That would be it. Thank you for having me here.
All right, but for me, for all of you guys watching, may it be developers or students, just be curious. Just be curious on some things, because like from that curiosity blooms something that is very treasury for you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Once again, see you all. I guess see you all next week for the last segment of Life Hacks called the Hall of Fame, where we join three junior developers who will walk
Hello,
through
could you hear
memory
me?
lane.
I
Oh,
hope so.
mom is still here. So, mom, anything you would like to say to the viewers before we finally end our live stream? And she's gone. So, I don't think we have time. So, let's again see you all next week for the last segment of Life Hacks called the Hall of Fame, where we join three junior developers who will walk through memory lane by visiting and talking about their previous code, what they would do, what they would do differently now, and generally the journey of growth as a student developer. So we have like a few reminders. If you want to become I mean, we have a few reminders. DSC applications are now open. So if you want to be the next lead of DSC CPU, or if you want to start a chapter at your school, then head to the link in the comments section below. Okay, it's now sent. So thank you so much. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you to everyone watching. Hope you have a wonderful night and see you guys next week, I guess.
Thank you again for
All
this
right,
wonderful
thank you
session. Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye.